level that are having a significant impact on recipients of federal financial assistance. And then last but not least, we will go through some highlights from the draft of the 2025 compliance supplement. We will talk about some of the things that we know relative to kind of where the draft stands and potential movement in terms of issuance, which we'll go through here later in the presentation. So I have the pleasure of giving everybody kind of an overview of where we stand here with the current single audit environment. So if you do or don't know, some folks may be familiar. I do sit on the AICPA's Governmental Audit Quality Center's Executive Committee. So some of the things I'll share here are information that we have access to. Of course, all of the opinions and things I'll share are those of my own, and I don't speak on behalf of the committee as a whole. So as we look here today, I always like to start off with kind of the statistics. And so the reason that that's relevant is because if you look at kind of where we started pre-pandemic in 2019, we were hovering around 37,000 single audits done annually. Not a small number, but then of course with the pandemic funding and the significant influx of new recipients, that number really ballooned in about 2022 to over 47,000 single audits submitted. So an additional 10,000 that were being crammed through the system. We have since pulled back a little bit. In 2024, as of the most recent submission data, we're at about 42,000. Actually, it's probably closer to 43,000 as we sit here today. But the reason that that's relevant is because it certainly exacerbates the current dilemma that we have relative to resources, both on the auditee and on the auditor and firm side. So certainly something that we certainly keep in mind as a profession, and something that we're always looking to kind of to deal with. So other single audit related developments, of course, it's not a surprise. The current federal environment has been, the term unprecedented is used a lot. I don't really know that precedent is really relevant anymore. I think every day seems to be something unprecedented, but there have been a lot of unique and unusual or maybe atypical sorts of events or circumstances, and we'll talk a little bit about those and how you can potentially prepare or respond to that. Of course, the compliance supplement delay has put a challenge on the auditees getting their audits submitted timely, and certainly on us as the auditors trying to get those audits completed timely with the resources we have set aside. There have been a number of enhanced changes to the AICPA audit and accounting guide. You may wonder, why is that relevant to me as a recipient? Well, that does really govern a lot of what we do in the audit. So we'll talk a little bit about what you might expect relative to some of those updates. If you haven't been paying close attention, you do know that the 24 uniform guidance revisions are now effective, both on the recipient side and then on the auditor side relative to the increases to the audit threshold. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then last but not least, we don't have a slide on the Financial Management Risk Reduction Act, but it is relevant again for auditees and certainly those that are auditors on the phone to understand how that impacts us. And so that really was a bipartisan piece of legislation signed in December of 2024.